Just chase. Dr. Joe Griffin. Yeah. I introduce you to Dr. Joe Griffin, a speaker, consultant, and author's intention is teaching their talk is to broaden their vision, the things they weren't taught when they brought up as children. I introduce you to Dr. Joe Griffin. It's Dr. Joe Griffin. I introduce you to Dr. Joe Griffin, a speaker, consultant, and author's intention is teaching their talk is to broaden their vision, the things they weren't taught when they brought up as children. Reach for the top, regardless of situations, predicaments, or your conditions. He's making history all of the districts, increasing retention from teachers, 50 to 80%. That ain't all that you hear me. He is the mentor. He paved the way with his tip methodology, really. Dream people.
Come on in, y'all.
Seek change, go out and go get it. This what you learning with Dr. Joe Griffin. With Dr. Joe Griffin, yeah. He says recognize trauma, push past the pain. If you got a problem, go look at his frame. Work your perspective and look at it change. Find a goal, set it in critical thing. Manage time, self-awareness. These are the few of the things he's trying to get you to do every day. Do every day. Led 5 schools to increase test scores with his teacher principal collaboration. Things he give to you will have you take you drive to the next level. But first, you need to get some fuel at gas station. Supporting education leaders, creating a culture for kids that'll last for ages. Lack of access to quality professional development, that's outrageous. Got his doctorate in education. Leadership, research, make changes. Need to put the kids first and raise them. Need to teach them they worth, stop playing. Later on, they gon' run this nation. Dr. Joe with
Come on in, y'all. Come on in.
Talk to those who would fix, make changes. I introduce you to Dr. Joe Griffin, a speaker, consultant, and author's intentions. The teaching their talk is to broaden their vision, the things they weren't taught when they brought up as children. Reach for the top, regardless of situations, predicaments, or your conditions. He's making history all of the districts, increasing retention from teachers, 50 to 80%. They ain't all that you hear me. He is the mentor. He paved the way with his dip methodology, really. Dream but persistent, face fears, seek change, go out and go get it. This what you learning with Dr. Joe Griffin. With Dr. Joe Griffin.
Come on in. Great day, leaders. Welcome to the Speaking Life in the You Leadership live stream. I am your host, Dr. Joe Griffin, where we talk leadership dynamics, personal and professional growth, educational trends, and we provide solutions to help you with school improvement to create a culture of collaboration. Let's go! Y'all, week 23. It's a brand new year and all of that, you all. I'm so happy to be here. It's a blessing to be here in 25. It's a blessing to be here in 25. Y'all come on in. We got a good one for you today. We want to definitely spearhead educators into 2025. Give you some great gems, great tips to help you keep going. First off, as always, I want to start with my roll call, you all. We got to get our roll call in. The other day, I was talking to a good buddy, a good friend, and they told me that they had watched every single live stream, that it had been a great show. I said, why hadn't you signed in? It's okay, because we don't do it for that reason. We do it so that you can get the information that you need. We've had some wonderful topics over the first 22 weeks, and we just want to keep that going, you all. We want to keep that going. So roll call, sign in, let me know where you're streaming in from. Real important that you do so. Definitely want to also start out with some affirmations, you all. Well, just one affirmation today, and it's I strive for excellence every single day. And repeat that, you all. Put it in the chat, say it to yourself, because it encompasses what we want to be about, not only this day, but also throughout the year of 2025. I strive for excellence every single day. I was also talking to a good buddy, and what we talked about was just being a great person, a better person in 25. Just to sum it all up, sum all the goals up, just want to be a better human being. And that hit different. That hit different, as they say. Just want to be a better human being. And then you put everything else into it. But I strive for excellence. So how's everybody doing? Y'all doing out there? I hope that the holidays have treated you well. I hope that you have had an opportunity to get some rest, get some relaxation, get some time in for yourself. Also get some planning in for the upcoming school year, for the upcoming things that you have going on with your school lives as well as with your families. You know, that's real important that you're getting that time in personally as well as professionally. So hopefully you are rested, revived, and rejuvenated. One of the last topics that we talked about in 2024, last year, was reviewing, reflecting, reframing, so that you can revitalize for this coming semester. Hopefully you have had an opportunity to do just that. Hopefully you are rested, you have revived, and you're ready to go forward with the mission at hand. So with that being said, I definitely want to speak from a position today before we get into the information. Tell you real quick what we're going to do today. I'm going to go through the premises of my framework for school improvement. We'll look at some of that, but then we'll dive into some of the foundational pieces of it. And I will leave you with 6 tips, 6 strategies that you can implement tomorrow for those that have not gone back to school but are going back tomorrow. Some of you went back last week. I'm aware of that as well. Some went back Wednesday as well as Thursday of last week. But I'm gonna give you 6 strategies at the end to tie all of this together that you can implement immediately when you go back to work tomorrow. And hopefully you've already got some plans in place, but that's just going to be something that you can add to your toolbox to make it even more impactful. Also, before we get started, I want to definitely offer you an opportunity to get my free 30-day plan for educational leadership. It's free. You'll notice in it, it's got 30 days worth of activities that you can use in order to build up your educational leadership skills as well as your team. So that's a great opportunity for you to do that as well, because it's all about being better human beings, as we talked about, but also being better professionally and doing what we do as educators. So make sure to get that free 30-day educational leadership plan as well. One of the things that I want you all to think about, and again, this is before we actually get into our framework, is that collaboration is possible. I'm going to say that again. Collaboration is possible. And I know that there have been many times we have perhaps frowned upon the team perspective. Things didn't go the way we planned. Somebody did not do their part on a collaborative project. Somebody didn't show up when we needed them to show up. Or somebody just did not put in the work when we were all putting in our work, because collaboration, again, is a multi-lane street. It's multiple people participating when collaboration takes place. So it's really crucial that we understand that collaboration is possible. It's got to be built on, number one, relationships of trust, relationships that value teamwork, that value togetherness, that value putting each other's strengths above each other's struggles. Because as teammates, you got to lift each other up. And in knowing that collaboration is possible, that's always on the forefront, that you're going to be positive with your teammate. You're going to pull them up. You're going to give them the resources that they may or may not have. You give them the peer tutelage that they may need. And you're just going to show up continuously. Again, it continuous collaboration is. So you got to make sure that you are forming a healthy relationship, because collaboration is possible. Secondly, know that collaboration is purposeful. You got to have purpose in the collaboratory processes. You got to make sure that there are routines that we have established, that there are boundaries that we've established to ensure that collaboration takes place at the highest level. And secondly, you got to understand that collaboration is a vehicle for growth. We grow with and through other people all the time. It speeds up the progress, because if I'm able to hear and then try to understand, because hearing and understanding are two different things, but I'm able to hear and understand my teammates' perspectives, I'm able to internalize that and in turn grow. That's crucial. All right, so it's important that, number one, you understand that collaboration is built on relationships, collaboration is purposeful, and collaboration is a vehicle for growth. Collaboration is possible, you all, and it's got to have some structures in place. So I definitely want to start out with that before we even jump into the framework. Collaboration is possible. If you're hearing what I'm saying, definitely let me know. Collaboration is possible. It's 2025. We going up in 2025, you all. There's no turning back. There's no turning back. You're going to be empowered. You're going to be improved. And you're going to be in situations to be successful. And as leaders, you're going to ensure that the teachers are in situations to be successful. As teachers, you're going to understand that your students are in situations where they could be successful as well. So again, collaboration is possible. I always keep that in mind. As we get ready to jump into the framework, hi, I am Joe. Today, I will speak from the perspective of Jim. Today, I will speak from the perspective of Jim. That's J-I-M. So stay with me now. Stay with me as we go on this J, what I call our journey. Everything starts with a journey. Everything starts with the journey. The journey began when you first got that feeling, when that first feeling turned into a thought, and that thought turned into a vision. That vision turned into goals. The goals turned into action. The goals turned into a plan. Then you went into action, and then you got results. Whether they were results you wanted or not, the results came about. So that journey begins with those feelings. When you decided you wanted to be an educational leader, when you decided you wanted to be a teacher, that journey began. And not to be cliche, but that journey begins with the end in mind. That journey begins with the end in mind. Now, as you start that journey, you keep pushing, you keep going. Your purpose starts to be created. You start to have the I, which is intentionality in what you do and what you bring into the table and how you're going about your daily craft, how you're going about your business to get things done, to get where it is that you want to go. That intentionality piece, purposeful living, purposeful doing, moving forward, keeping the vision, being disciplined to those things that you set out for yourself and for those that you care for or for your team. That's the intentionality piece. And now, after I started this journey, I've created some intentionality. Now, I must make sure that I have the corresponding or the matching mindset. Now I have to make sure I've got the matching mindset to continue this journey, to remain intentional in everything I do, because the mindset is going to what keep me focused. So again, journey, intentionality, and mindset. So with that, I am going to bring up the framework for school improvement, you all. And again, at the end, I'm going to give you some strategies as well, in addition to the philosophy and the structural pieces of it. I'm going to also give you some implementation that you can take back tomorrow as well, at least 6 of them, all right? And perhaps more might come out in our conversation. If you can't tell, I love this. I love what I do every single day as an educator. That's one of my affirmations. I strive for excellence as well. All right, but let's start with our 3x3 leadership framework for school improvement. 3x3 sense leadership framework for school improvement. it just brings me excitement just to bring this to you today. I've shown it to you before, but this is a different visual. I always talk to you every single week. The first 22 weeks, I talk to you from an instructional leadership lens, a cultural leadership lens, and or an organizational leadership lens. Everything that we do is aligned, whether it's resources, whether it's the professional development that we provide in those particular spaces, whatever it is, everything is aligned. So, and I'm not going to talk a whole lot about the processes, but I am going to talk to you about the results. I talk to you about the results and what it is that comes out of putting these different things in place. Number one, with your instructional leadership pieces, you got to understand that discipline culture plus instructional practices equals performance. The better the discipline culture is, that's the collaborative way in which teachers and administrators work together to handle issues. The better that occurs, the better those instructional practices are going to be. So it's crucial to understand that if I'm the leader, I got to make sure I'm creating an environment where, number one, teachers are able to teach. I got to create an environment where students are able to learn. And that's created through the environment that the leadership produces. Discipline culture, that's the collaborative way in which teachers and administrators work together to handle student-to-student issues, student-to-adult issues, as well as adult-to-adult issues. All of these affect the instructional practices that teachers are willing and able to use. So instructional leadership is dynamic. I'm going to say that again. Instructional leadership is dynamic. Your instructional leadership must be composed of instructional leadership as well as transformational leadership. It's called integrated leadership, Marx and Prenny. That's what the basis of a lot of my information is founded on the research side of it. In addition, the practitioner side of it. Remember, I told you a couple of weeks ago, I showed you in depth my trajectory from 2008 to 2023 as an administrator. And again, there were a lot of great increases in test scores and student achievement, as well as collaboration. I'm not going to go over that again today, but I did want to just pop it up there again. You can go back a couple of weeks and kind of look at that outline of how we actually did that, what were the transgressions, and how much we actually improved. How we actually improve. Again, instructional leadership, that's got to be your basis of everything that you start as the leader. It's no longer about you coming in and telling somebody what to do. It's about being a leader who influences. It's about being a leader who's able to be an instructional leader, to bring value to your teachers instructionally. And with that, that's going to come in your particular instructional strategies that you're pushing. What are they? I asked the principal a couple of weeks ago during one of our coaching sessions, what's your signature instructional strategy that you push throughout the school? And there was no answer. We use a rubric. They said they use Marzano's rubric. Well, that's a rubric. That's not an instructional practice or an instructional strategy. What strategy is it that is your signature that you're known for? That high impact strategy. So again, that's a great part of instructional leadership. So again, those instructional practices are crucial. Also with that, the global DNA leadership assessment helps to guide that, because you learn your communicatory processes, how you better communicate with others, and you're able to better infuse your instructional plan. Secondly, the second pillar, cultural leadership, y'all. Cultural leadership. And that's what's going on in your school. What's the mood? How is it being set up every single day by the leader? And you'll notice in the middle of cultural leadership, in the middle of the 3x3 sense framework, is love and respect for all. Nothing takes place at high levels, you all, if you're not providing love and respect for every single body in the school community. This is crucial. Cultural leadership. And then we move on to the third pillar, which is organizational leadership. Organizational leadership, now you're talking about your strategic planning, your visioning, those things that you have in place. You're talking about your global DNA coaching, because after you've done the assessment, you want to make sure that you got some coaching to go along with it as well. And that's whether you're doing that particular assessment or if you got some other data points in place to get the information that you need to keep getting better. So again, I want to talk to your lens of just being better. Yeah, I've got lots of processes for school improvement. I was able to turn around several schools with these particular practices. But again, it's about sharing. It's about empowering. It's about giving back. So I want to make sure that every single week I have value to your toolbox. That's why we've had so many different guests, so many powerful educators over the course of the first 22 weeks. Not just me, but I've had a number of guests as well to come in and push the needle, to have conversations that we often and always don't have in educational spaces. So it's crucial and it's important that we continue to do such. And as we get to the foundational part of the 3x3 Sense leadership framework for school improvement, you hear me all the time talk about connect, empowerment, and collaboration. You hear me saying those all the single time. And by the way, y'all like, comment, subscribe. Share. I got to make sure I do better with that. I've got to make sure I do better with that. But please share out. Please share out. We don't want to keep this information just to ourselves. Again, that's what got me into it. Got me into coming on live to ensure that educators get what they need, because I realized that there are a lot of principals, there are a lot of teachers who are drowning in their efforts. And I was blessed to be able to come through there and have some pretty good numbers, to have some wonderful relationships that I built through building up schools and helping to spearhead academic processes. And now I just want to be in position to help you all. I just want to be in position to help you be the best leader that you could be, the best teacher that you can be, so that those students can be the best students that they can be. 24 years in the game, you all. 15 years as a head, about 17 years as an administrator, 17 and a half years as an administrator, 23 years overall, 10 years as a college professor. I just want to give back. I just want to give back, you all. That's why I'm here every single week. Week 23, y'all. So we're going to get down to the foundational pieces of our 3x3 Sense framework for school improvement. And at the end of this, again, I'm going to give you 6 ways that you can connect, empower, and collaborate starting tomorrow. First off, with that connection piece, I'm going to put this back up real quick. I'm going to take it back down. You got to understand that with the connection, you've got to respect individuality as well as diversity. Individuality as well as diversity, they go together. And as your self-awareness increases, you become more aware of who you are, what it is that you bring to the table. You realize that, wow, I should really be more accepting of these other people because they are accepting of me. And that's the diversity piece. My individuality allows me to respect diversity. Our diversity should allow us to honor individuality. I'm going to say that again because I know it can get complex. But I'm better able to respect everyone for what it is they bring to the table if my individuality is also respected. I'm better able to honor individuality in situations where diversity is respected. So that's important in that connection piece. We've got to understand that everyone is different. Everyone brings something special and unique to the table. That's what diversity is. The multitude of our talents, the compound of our talents. So the connection piece then leads to empowerment. And you notice under empowerment, you're talking about belonging and acceptance. The only way that a person feels as if they belong to your school, to your organization, to your classroom, is that you set a standard of accepting them. The only way that a person feels accepted and that you're accepting is that there's a standard of belonging in place. It goes back and forth, acceptance and belonging. In creating an empowered community, these are crucial tenets. The connection leads to the empowerment. The connection is the relationship. The empowerment is us establishing that relationship so that we can then plan the work. And then that leads to collaboration. Collaboration, now you're talking about the commitment. You're talking about commitment and accountability. For too long, we've tried to hold people accountable when they wasn't committed in the first place. You can't hold a grown person accountable if they're not already committed. That's where the influence as a leader must come in. It's our job as leaders to influence them to become committed to the movement. How do you get somebody to become committed to a movement? You're constantly giving them the facts. You're constantly letting them know how you're impacting society. What benefits that not only they're going to get because they're going to improve their quality of life, but also what those students are going to get, what their colleagues are going to get. So commitment influences accountability. And accountability, the only way that you can get commitment and have it at a high level is that you have accountability measures in place that work, that make sense, and that allow people to flourish. I'm going to say that again. Your accountability measures have to put people in position to be successful so they can flourish every single day in their roles. I hope y'all hear me today. We starting this year out right, 25, you all. I want every school leader. I want every teacher. I want you wound up. I want you ready to go. I want you putting students in the best position they could be, because they don't get all that positive talk a lot of times at home, you all. They're not hearing that they can be great. They don't know their potential. So you got to speak that life into them. Just like every single week we come on, try to speak life into you. Speak the life into those students. Speak that life into those students. Let them know that they can do it. All right. So I'm going to bring it back up, and then I'm going to give you some actual strategies that go with connecting, empowering, and collaborating. So if you got questions, if you got input, definitely put in on the chat. We got some input there. Brother Curtin, great collaboration. Great point on collaboration. It's the cornerstone of effective leadership. It empowers us to harness the strengths of our teams and build meaningful relationships. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what it's all about. That connection, respecting that individuality and diversity of all people, leads to empowerment. That empowerment allows us to belong, feel like we belong, but also to be accepted in our educational spaces. And then that leads to the collaboration, us being able to do the work, us being able to be committed to the process. One team, one dream. Yeah. Us being able to be held accountable for the work. Dr. Williams, I apologize. I didn't get my plans in. I know I've got to do better. That's part of my commitment. I've got to be a better steward. I've got to get on post better. That's part of my commitment. You've got these accountability measures in place. We're influencing the process. Yeah. Connection, empowerment, collaboration. With that being said, I want to then give you some great strategies. Great strategies. You may be doing all 6 of these already. You may have already implemented all of these, but I want to make sure that I put them up for you because I love you, because I want to see you succeed as a leader, as an educator. 6 ways. Give you a couple of each way. And again, you all, this slight work, as the kids say, this something slight. Connection piece. We talking about individuality and diversity, remember. Everything aligned, you all. We're not just coming in your school to help you improve and don't have everything aligned. We coming in, we're going to look at the processes that you already have going on, and then we're going to align what we need to do to help you improve your school status. Check my track record. I did it everywhere. I'm thankful. It was the team. It was the team. I was just blessed to be able to be in position to kind of help guide and spearhead. Connect one-on-ones, you all. You say, Dr. Joe, I did one-on-ones in August. I already talked to everybody. I'm tired of talking to old people. No, sir. No, sir. That connection from August is gone. I'm going to say it again. It's a brand new year. It's 2025. They made a resolution, perhaps, to change the way they even communicate with you. You don't know. So one-on-ones, you got to check their temperature. This week, you got to check their temperature. You got to ensure that everyone is still taking ownership of the vision and let them know that you're along for the ride. I'm going to say it again. You got to have these one-on-ones again. I don't care if it's 50 people. I don't care if it's 100 people. This is semester 2. You had them at the beginning of the year, sure. You may not have had them at the beginning of the year. If you didn't have them, you definitely want to have them now. If you have them, you still want to have them now. Yeah, I can't make this up, you all. I've been down through that. I've been in these seats. See, I'm not one of your consultants that's coming in and hadn't already done it. We got a lot of consultants that's living off of their big company name or that somebody just put them in place. We here because we love what we do. It's not about the money. It's about helping you. All right. So connect one-on-ones. You got to have those. And it needs to be a structured conversation. It doesn't need to be willy-nilly all over the place. It needs to be a structured conversation because you've got a point for having it. You want to know, number one, where they are mentally with you. You're trying to, of course, connect. That's the whole purpose of it. And you want to see what next steps are going to be because now you're about to hit the stretch run. You got tests coming up, stay testing. You got formal evaluations coming up. You got spring coming up, which is a game changer in itself. So you got a number of things coming up. So you want to go in this week, have those one-on-ones. If you hear what I'm saying, you like what I'm saying, let me know, y'all. Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, share. We can't keep this good information from all of our leaders and teachers. All right. Secondly, again, this is slight work. This is light work. Speaking we versus I language. Ooh, speaking we versus I language. Instead of talking about what you're doing, talk about what we're doing. Instead of talking about the school, talk about our school. This is what we're doing in our school. Oh, that's empowerment in itself. That's making a connection in itself, because now we have something in common. We got the school in common. We've got this work in common. We've got this professional development in common. Yeah. Speaking we, not I language. This is crucial as the leader. This is crucial as the leader. All right. I want you all to use the Malin Hunter lesson line structure. We are using the Malin Hunter lesson line structure. We're speaking that, make that the common denominator in everything that you talk about. Psychology, but also it's true teamwork. Because as you continue to voice it, they're going to feel it and you're going to internalize it. Speaking we versus I language all through the day, every single day. Yeah. Thirdly, when you're making a connection, you're going to review and reflect on your ups and downs through dialogue. You got to talk. You got to talk to your people. You got to literally interact, review, and reflect. Let's talk about the good things that we did during the first semester. Let's talk about the things that we need to improve on from the first semester. Not just assume that we're going to make these changes or you're going to make the changes all alone. Involve your team. Reflect with the team. Put them in that conversation, y'all. Put them in that conversation. If you're a teacher, put your students in that conversation. Review and reflect on what we did first semester. The students have a voice as well. So leaders, you're going to do this with your teachers, and teachers, you're going to bump that down to your students. Review and reflect on the ups and downs. Look at the good things, the bad things. They probably hadn't done it. They may not have done it. You may not have done it. Quiet as kept. Oh, I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, but I've been there. You got a lot going on. You're not just principal in school. You're not just teaching in a school. You got family commitments. You got doctor's appointments. You got things that are going on in your life that, as they say, cost you to life. So you got to make sure that you're constantly reviewing and reflecting on the ups and the downs. And not just in your head, but through dialogue. Now we're going to put that into action. Yeah, I'm feeling good today. I hope y'all are listening. I hope you're able to come back, review this live stream as many times as you need to get the information that you need. Next, you're talking about empowering. You're talking about empowering and a couple of actions that you can do to immediately empower your team. When you go back tomorrow, implement reflection circles. You may or may not already have them in place. Most people don't. But schedule them so that they'll know that this is recurring, so that they'll know that this is something that we're doing, that we are going to open up, that we're going to be vulnerable with one another. If we're teammates and I'm able to be vulnerable with you, doesn't that mean you're going to probably take up for me better? You're going to support me better because you know my weaknesses? Isn't that what teamwork is about? Covering for one another's struggles with our strengths and vice versa, so that we can make up the difference. And at the same time, you're in the background working on those struggles so that you can be better and then step in and step up and make the difference. Y'all don't hear me today. Implement reflection circles. Powerful strategy, you all. Tell them you're going to do it when you go in tomorrow or when you have your meeting this week. Let them know, look, SEL is of importance. I know what you're going through because I'm going through it as well. We've got 5 months left in school, really 4, because that 5th month, you already know what's going on. I want to ensure that we are all well. I want to empower you to be well so that you can empower to teach well. Ooh. I want to empower you to be well so you can be empowered to teach well. Let that sink in. Next, you're talking about an administrator and training program implementation. You may have not been done it all first semester. So what? But tomorrow, you're going in with the idea. You need help with that. I've got 3 years, 4 years of administrative and training program agendas, hard copy and on computer. Yeah. So reach out if you need information like that. I can share some with you, let you see how to get the administrative and training program going. I love to help. I'm about empowering. So if you want to ensure that you're doing things at the next level and you're empowering those next group of leaders up under you, it means you got to be secure with what you bring to the table, because when you start this administrative and training program, they're going to want to work. They're going to want to help you. They're going to want to lean toward the cause. They're going to want to put in on the work. So again, the connection piece gave you several strategies that you can do tomorrow. The empowerment piece gave you a couple that you can do tomorrow. Now you're talking about collaborating. See, collaborating, you're taking it all to the next level. Notice how each one of those strategies build out. So I didn't go all the way in the bag. I wanted to give you 2 or 3 small chunks. See, that's research-based as well, chunking the learning. So you're talking about collaborating. So now you've had a whole semester of professional learning community meetings, right? Yeah. Principal, you led them, I'm sure. You probably had your assistant principals leading them. You may have even had instructional coaches leading the PLC. But now it's time to let the teachers lead them. See, collaboration means that it's something that all of us can do. It's something that all of us put in on. It's not collaboration if you're the only person that's teaching. If you're the only person that's learning, it's not collaboration. Collaboration, we both are doing it. So have your teachers, when you go in this week, tell them, look, you can plan it out however you have them. You have your meetings bi-monthly, every 2 weeks, or what have you, every week. Some people have them every week. Whatever it is. Miss Williams, Miss Johnson, you're going to lead. I need you to lead such and such PLC meet on data analysis. I love the way you have always broken down your kids as far as with the testing sequences or what have you. So I want you to show that process to your colleagues, and you put them in the game. That's collaboration. Now you not only made a connection, you're not only empowered, now you're collaborating with them. Now we're going to take this admin and training program to the next level. And by the way, many of these practices are in the Dip Approach for Student and Adults, Dip Approach for Educator Success Manual, as well as Empowering Education Community, a guide for teacher principal collaboration. So now you're going to have the admin and training team spearhead an activity. You're going to have them spearhead an activity. What you mean? You might do something like a career exposition, a career expo. That's one of the things that we did at one of my schools prior, and it was huge. And what we did was, what the administrators in training program initiative did was scheduled out leaders, workers, all types of people from the community who are successful in their careers, scheduled it out about 6 months in advance, because again, something like that, you can't wait until it's time for the program. But they scheduled out 6 months in advance. And we end up with about 60 different professionals from our school community. And we're talking about doctors, we had lawyers, we had HVAC people, we had electricians, we had people who worked at the casinos. We had all types of people, nurses. Okay, so we had all types of people because the administrators and training program provided that. When you got help, when you got people enlisted, when you have people empowered, you can pull those type of feats off. Would I have been able to do something like that alone as the principal? No. Number one, I wouldn't have had time to make all those calls. I wouldn't have had time to book all those people. I wouldn't have had time to write the schedule. And then we allowed the students to rotate. They picked in advance which of the career professionals that they wanted to see. Isn't that powerful? They picked them in advance. And all this was done because we had an empowered administrator and training program. And then we took it to the next level and we collaborated. Collaboration is possible, you all. Collaboration is possible. And I don't know how to say it any other way. But this year in 2025, make it your goal to collaborate at high levels. Make it your goal to connect with students and adults. Make it your goal to empower them, to put them in the game, coach, as they say. And also make it your business to be committed to collaborate. Collaboration is a journey. It's not a one-time event. Collaboration is intentional. It's not something that's random. Collaboration is a mindset. It's not some strategy. It's something that you have to continually work at, continually input. Because remember, those things that we input then turn into our output. So again, I hope that today you have been able to follow me on this journey. Again, I'm Joe, and today I've been speaking to you from the lens of GM, journey, intentionality, and mindset. And also, before we close out, I definitely want to encourage you to check out my works. I've got what educational leaders need. The DIP approach for educator success. Still going strong. I'll be presenting on it next month in the big city of New York at the Innovative Schools Summit. And then you got Empowering Educational Communities, a guide for teacher-principal collaboration. Again, all of our books are about collaboration. It's about putting you in position where you're going to be the best that you can be. If you hadn't picked that up, make sure you pick it up. It comes with the professional development to match every single chapter. I'm going to say that again because it might not hit. It comes with the PD. I took the time to put PD to match every single chapter. That book gonna live forever. And then you got the cultural leadership books. You're talking about SCL. You're talking about your DIP approach for student and adult success, as well as the guidebook. You're talking about increasing your self-awareness. You're talking about being the best leader that you can be. You're talking about improving collaboration and teamwork. You need to start with your global DNA behavior leadership assessment. It's going to provide you your strengths, your struggles, those insights, those communicatory preferences, not only for you, but also for your teammate. And it aligns it in a way that allows you to know how you need to communicate with those particular team members. I can't make this up. I'm so empowered. I'm so happy to be here, you all, to be in position to even offer you this assistance, to be able to provide support for school improvement, because I really did do it. I really have sat there. I'm not some consultant that just making this up or that's lying about their transformations. We got some that's doing that. And those seen a lot of them, they getting a lot of the call, but it's okay because we're doing it for the right reason. I want to be in position to help you be who you need to be every single day as a leader, as an educator. Also, again, I want to remind you, if you have not picked up your 30-day educational leadership plan, it's free. Pick it up, implement it. If you have questions about the implementation process, feel free to reach out. If there are things that you don't understand or that you want more enlightenment on how you're going to make your team better with that particular leadership plan and more, again, just reach out. Just reach out. It's 2025, y'all. It's 2025, y'all. I'm happy to be here. I don't know about you, but a lot of people didn't make it. A lot of people didn't make it to 25. So it's real important. It's not just some random event that we made it. You made it for a reason. You made it for a reason. And that's why we're here. So again, I want to get ready to close here. You all, it's been wonderful. Be back next week. Next week, we're going in depth on the observation process, as well as some things that you need to do in addition to what we talked about this week. I'll be solo again because I want to get you off to a great start. I know that although everyone does not participate in the chat, I see the views, I get the calls, I get some of the DMs. I appreciate you all for being supportive. You also, again, keep it up. Let's keep being great. Continue to do what you were designed to do. Always be motivated. Let's stay educated and let's be inspired. Dr. Joe, you all signing off. Always speaking and writing life into you.